got this really weird, like, I think it's called a fixed pixel, not a dead pixel on my monitor, and it's not annoying me, but it's just weird. There it is, it's gone after fiddling with it. Anyway, hello YouTube, this is Scientific here, and welcome back to another Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the while loop. We've already talked about the for loop, now it's time to talk about the other type of loop called the while loop. I believe it's the only other type of loop in Python. And basically what the for loop does, it will do the while loop, it does something until a certain condition is met. So if we say I equals 10 while I is less than or equal to I equals 1 while I is less than or equal to 10, print I, and then we're going to add 1 to I by saying I equals I plus 1. This basically just says, okay, we're assigning I the value of its current value plus 1. So if I is 1 and we do this, it will become 2. If I is equal to 2 and we do this, it will become 3. And it will basically increment the value of I, so that the value of I is going up, and until while I is less than or equal to 10, so while it's not greater than, while it's not 11 or greater, print I and increment I's value. There's a shorthand for this. If you only want to add, something to I, you can say plus equals 1. You can also say minus equals, times equals, divide equals. I think you can do exponent equals, and you can do modulus equals. But here we want to add, so we just want to say plus equals 1. So this is basically the same as saying I equals I plus 1, or this is the same as saying I equals I take away 1, or I equals I times 1, I equals I divided by 1, and so on. But we want to add a value to I. So I is 1, while I is less than or equal to 10. It's 1, it's less than, and it's not equal to 10. It will say, okay, I is 1, we want to print I add 1 to I will become 2, then I will become 3, I will become 4, I will become 5, I will become 6, I will become 7, I will become 8, I will become 9, and I will become 10, so it will be equal to 10, but then we'll add 1 to it again, and it will become 11, and it will exit the loop, because it is not less than or equal to 10. If we build and run this, it will print numbers 1 through 10. This is kind of the same as doing for I in X range 1 and 10, take away 1, and print I. Actually, it doesn't do that. It's not doing that. It's I plus 1. There we go. It's basically the same as doing this, except doing it in 3 lines. Actually, probably close to 5 or 6 lines. But you know, maybe that's not the most useful example for the for loop. But there's a few things I should also tell you about the for loop, and that is if you say while 1 print hello world, it will print hello world forever, and now we're stuck in a loop, and Sublime Text just crashed. How good that Sublime Text just crashed. Yeah, it crashed because it's in an infinite loop of constantly printing hello world, because while 1 basically is while 1 is equal to 1, and 1 will always be equal to 1 because that value is not changing, because it's a hard-coded value in the Python. It will print hello world, and that's an infinite loop. And infinite loops are usually a bad thing, unless you're doing game development. Then you need an infinite loop to keep the window open. If you've ever done any Pygame or stuff like that, any sort of game development, then you will know that you need an infinite loop to keep a window open and to keep checking for events, updating and drawing things, etc. But I'm assuming, like I said in the last tutorial, that you have absolutely no prior programming knowledge and you're a beginner, so you probably haven't done any sort of game development. Hopefully you haven't, at least, if you haven't coded before. Let's force quit. Let's open it again. And the same thing will happen if you say while true, because while true is true, and true will always be true, then it will also make an infinite loop. You'd also have variables equal to 1, while x, if you have x as a value of 1, or x as a value of 2, while x, stuff like that. It will, as long as there is a value that will constantly be the same, it will make an infinite loop. So a while loop basically just does something until a certain condition is met, and while it's not met, it's going to do everything inside the while loop block, because as you've noticed that use an indent, that is because it is a block. So that's all for this tutorial. Hopefully you enjoyed it and learned something. If you did, be sure to leave a like, leave a comment if there's anything you'd like me to go over, or if there's something you'd like me to talk to you about in this tutorial that you didn't fully understand. If there's a concept kind of threw you off in this tutorial or in another tutorial that you'd like to just discuss about general Python, feel free to leave a comment, send me a personal message, send me a message on Skype, follow me on Twitter at Sonic2KK. Anything, any sort of social media outlet. But yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Hopefully you enjoyed it. My name is Sonic2KK, and I will see you in the next tutorial.